You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Folks, I got a show for you today. Caitlin Clark, Colin Kaepernick, Kurt Flood, the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, civil rights violations. That's right. The civil rights of Caitlin Clark have been violated. Folks, this is a story that is really it's a compelling profession, controversial tone. The WNBA has come in, and the WNBA players' representatives have come in and shifted the landscape of the CBA negotiations. Unexpected, but let's call it what it is. The Wall Street Journal published recently that raised major concerns that Caitlin Clark hostile work environment really in accusing the WNBA of wrongdoing, did it suggest that there may be foul play that's running amok in the WNBA toward Caitlin Clark? And has it been where the WNBA has not protected the civil rights of Caitlin Clark? You talk about a spin of a story. This is a spin of the story. Here are the civil rights allegations. And keep in mind, Caitlin Clark is a Caucasian American basketball player, entering the majority of a 74% African American league. Here's the complex some supporters claim she's been targeted physically, verbally, and also mentally, and that her fame came from college and not the WNBA. Very concerning. Now, moving to the civil rights allegations, here are where it gets thick, heavy, and it could be going down a rabbit hole of no return. The WNBA CBA agreement. And why does Money Mike say that? Is Alyssa Collier got on there and said it's a hostile work environment. Utilizing Caitlin Clark as the tool, utilizing Caitlin Clark as the rabbit. Caitlin did not make these allegations herself, just says, pay us what you owe us with the t shirt. As many had said prior that Caitlin was aware. Was Caitlin aware that the Wall Street Journal, in conjunction with the collective bargaining agreement of the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, the article hinted on a border of civil rights issue. Civil rights law protects individuals from discrimination based on race, gender, religion, and more. In this case, some observers are arguing the fact that Caitlin Clark is being treated completely differently than any other player in the WNBA, and her rights are not being protected. Others strongly agree, saying the argument flips the civil rights conversation on its head. In their view, what we're seeing is a talented, very talented player that is coming into the WNBA and really is kind of taken over the WNBA. But to do so, she has taken tremendous amount of pain, punishment, and treatment from the WNBA. As Kathy Engelbert calls it, competition. Well, the Wall Street Journal, the collective bargaining agreement, and also looking at it from a standpoint of Caitlin Clark being a Caucasian American and the civil rights laws all the way back to Lyndon B. Johnson. We're turning America on our heads today as we bring forth the WNBA, as they have been targeted as the one who will pay, even though the leaders of Unrival, what found out very interesting, may offer salary and bonuses. But in the Unrival League, they're only receiving 15% of the total revenue. Always altered and sheltered by bonuses, I wonder how much above the 9% will the Unrival's owners be willing to negotiate for WNBA players. This one's going to get sticky, folks. There is no end in sight. You can get in there, and the WNBA could be forced to open up the books, which is the NBA, or settle. I don't know where this one's going, but I don't see an end in sight. The argument flipped civil rights conversation on its head. It's no longer for minorities, African Americans, as it was fought for back a long time ago, all the way back to the voting rights. Now it's being utilized for Caitlin Clark. The WNBA's role, what's their role and in what position do they have in this? The WNBA has a tough job here. They're trying to elevate women's sports, no doubt about it, basketball as a whole. They want to capitalize on Caitlin Clark, which you must understand. Caitlin Clark, the golden goose, as I called her, the road runner, the one that Wall Street has come for, the one that grassroots basketball has come for, the one that Nike has called for. The name is Caitlin, but Caitlin now is being utilized for another purpose. As we took the court in Nike, in social media, social justice, the value in revenue, now you have a new t-shirt that can be posted. Caitlin Clark's civil rights have been violated, which turns this into a completely different matter. Her popularity is off the chart, and the WNBA has failed to protect Caitlin. We talk about Colin Kaepernick. He took a knee. Well, the WNBA players take a knee because Caitlin Clark's civil rights have been violated. They're utilizing Caitlin as a trophy, as a position point in the argument. But are they willing to take that knee? Are they willing to take a stand? Are they willing to put their careers on the line as Colin Kaepernick did, as Kirk Flood did in Major League Baseball? As the players knew they were underpaid, but somebody had to be a sacrifice. Who's going to be the WNBA sacrifice? Because you're taking this and you're trying it in a court of public opinion. Now, let's go a little bit deeper because I got a good understanding of what the WNBA would like to do and what the WNBA will do and how it will all come together. Because civil rights is not something you close a chapter on quickly. And then when you look at it and you look at what is going on, you must ask yourself, what's behind this? Well, you got a person that's coming from Harvard University that is willing to take the step to move to get the civil rights to what it needs to be. And they're talking about a form of slavery. Claudia Goldin, Harvard University professor, is leading the charge. Silently, ever so quietly, but urban slavery is what the WNBA is calling it. Urban slavery. As Claudine Goldin, her history, her life, her dedication has been to the field of civil rights. And I look at this and I say to myself, every time the WNBA takes a step, it's going one step deeper and deeper. Is there an end to this? Claudine Goldin has investigated gender dynamics throughout her career. Every course has gender in it somewhere. The WNBA are going to take a stand that this is modern slavery. It is below, and the WNBA is saying under the civil rights, we want equal pay. This one's going beyond Unrivaled because they're looking to take this to court, which Unrivaled is only getting, I repeat, 15% of the revenue shared and shallowed or has a covering on it because they give you a salary and a bonus, but it doesn't give you a revenue split. So we have the leaders of the WNBA who are representing the players have already accepted a 15% split. What will be fair for the WNBA players? A 16% split? You're utilizing Caitlin for your own use. You have no love. You have no affection for Caitlin. In fact, if Caitlin wasn't in your league, you could care less. Because the WNBA, I will tell you, folks, as many people have said, and they've said it's not a league. The WNBA reaches on the border of a sorority. The sorority sisters of the WNBA have allowed players to be blocked. I've never seen a league, whether it's Major League Baseball, the National Football League, or the National Basketball Association, that drafts players and cut them. There's only 150 players, but over the years, every year that a player continues to play over year 10, 11, and 12, that stopped the growth of another player. So in actuality, Caitlin has come in, but the WNBA players are the same. The rookies now will come in under a form of independence, but they're not coming under a form of civil rights. This has gone well beyond what one may achieve or leave. Because we ask ourselves, was there a civil rights violation? If it is, this is a very serious claim. Honestly, there's no court ruling or official complaint backing it up right now, but there will be in the court of law of litigation. Precedent cases will come forth. But culturally, emotionally, perceptionally, there's a clear divide, one that speaks the truth moment we're living in. So I want to hear from you. Do you think Caitlin Clark has been targeted, utilized, pointed out, tricked, banned, or scapegoated into saying by the Wall Street Journal that my civil rights have been violated? I've been targeted as a hate crime that has come against me, and the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, won't do anything about it. This is the time I'm trying to get everyone to understand. You have Wall Street, and now you have the Wall Street Journal. You have Colin Kaepernick, and now you have Caitlin Clark. Make a decision, but I'll tell you this one is not going to end the way everyone expects it to. This is a league that is going to turn itself upside down. Will it survive? Will it collapse? Or will it just reformulate, recalibrate itself? This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I thank you for tuning in, and I thank for all the new viewers. We appreciate your presence, your education, your knowledge, and your comments. This one, I don't have an answer for, but I'll continue to bring you what I find is true. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and Caitlin Clark, civil rights have been violated. Standing along the lines of Caitlin Kaepernick and Kurt Flood. All things are possible to those who believe. We'll see you soon.